Hello, I'm Taj, digitally known as Tropic Vibes, the host of Nifty Business, where we highlight NFTs and explore Web 3.0 as we move from pure speculation to creating real-world value. So all the way back in February, I minted my very first NFT on the Ethereum blockchain. Now, that might not seem like a very long time ago, especially if you're listening to this podcast, you're thinking, wait, what? Did he just say his first mint was in February? That is because you have to understand, first of all, I came in the Wax blockchain, then I went all over the other places. Then when I finally came over to Ethereum, I wanted nothing to do with gas wars. The prices were astronomical at that point. If you tried to get into any of these mints, you get into a bidding war to try to get your transaction through, and it would be hundreds or thousands of dollars for a mint. So because of that, I was just browsing OpenSea in the middle of the night and trying to pick off some things while gas was low. Because generally speaking, in the middle of the night, as far as what the time is over in the Western Hemisphere, the US and the East Coast and all of that, is a low traffic time. And while America and this side of the world is sleeping, you can get some good gas. So that's what I was doing. However, with this one, I ended up on the white list because I was in the Discord getting ready to mint for the 90s babe. And just by chance, I was able to be randomly selected from one of the contests that they were having. And just as they were closing off the whitelist prize, I was able to get on this list. So when that opened up, this was my first mint on Ethereum. So the three that I ended up getting, first of all, I minted two because the whitelist had a limit of two for 0.06 ETH. And then I picked up a second one on OpenSea right away for 0.07, which was the price of the public sale. So at the time, the value of ETH was around 2.7 or so. So I paid about $550, $560 or so based on the actual US dollar conversion rate at that time. So now I'm pretty excited to say 6 months later, the beta for this educational platform is launched, and I'm going to give my first impressions and really update you to see what's going on over there and let you know what I think of it so far. So I just want to get this out there. Full disclosure, as I said, that I am a holder. I have 3 of these, and I am not a part of the project or anything of that nature. So anything I do say, as usual, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to get into this, but I'm telling you my first impressions, where the price is right now, and how things are going. So with that said, I'm going to say I absolutely love the logo and how it looks when I first log onto the page and everything. Clearly, Gigi, the founder, is someone that knows how to code and do her websites and what have you. Now, I'm not sure if she's the one who's doing the front end of designing, but most likely it is, because if you can do the back end coding, which is all the hardcore stuff behind the scenes, the front end things should be fairly easy, because after all, she's the one who picked the color scheme and everything for the NFTs and all of that. Although she wasn't the artist that drew it, she really picked out everything, and I really see her fashion sense. And if you've ever seen Gigi with any of her interviews or any pictures or anything from the events that she attends, she is a fashionable individual, right? And so the coordination and everything is on this website. So that's my first impressions of it. But just to say, what is the Web3 Academy? The Web3 Academy, or Web3 Learn Academy as it is called, is an educational platform for learning all things Web3. At the Web3 Learn Academy, our mission is to empower, educate, and help everyone join the Web3 space. Join Web3 as builders, creators, and learners. Grow, learn, build with us. Now, that sounds a lot similar to what I close out these episodes with, is that we're learning and building together. That is great right there, right online with my mission, my goals, and everything that's going on here. So who is this Learn Academy for? It is for the crypto curious, the builders, the creators who aim to learn and advance their Web3 knowledge and abilities. Hey, sounds just right for me. So right now where it is, there are some master classes that are up. You can watch them, and then you can sign up on the waiting list for the live classes that they'll be teaching from various topics. And as I said, this is a very bare bones, basic version of what's coming. A lot of this stuff is coming soon, but what's up so far, I was pretty impressed by. Certain topics, for example, understand the tech and market behind Web3. That is a masterclass that is up here. Most of these masterclasses run between an hour to 2 hours or so, depending on the different topics. But one that I was very interested in, but was having a little trouble loading up right now, was the legal essentials for small business owners and NFT creators. As a small business owner, and this is Nifty Business, of course, that is something that I was very interested in. But what was more interesting in that is the person that actually teaches that is an intellectual property lawyer for Web3 and NFTs. And that's very interesting to me because this is not just a random person that is in a Twitter space speaking about stuff based on what they believe is right. This is an actual lawyer that is really branding herself in this space. Very cool to me. Another one that's up there right now is how to create and deploy NFTs from scratch. Very interesting. That is something I'm interested in and learning all of this stuff. Of course, this whole platform is going to go really deep down into that and teach you how to do the coding and all of that. But in a masterclass to have that, I think that is a great starting point. And for the one-of-one artist, there's one called How to Create Art with Procreate. Now, Procreate is a app which I did not even fully understand that this was an iPad app. I thought it was a desktop app. I always heard about it and people were speaking about it and what have you in Procreate for years, from back in the day when I used to do t-shirt sales and all of this stuff, and people would say, yeah, Procreate is how I did this. And I was using Adobe Photoshop and InDesign and all these desktop platforms and what have you, and I kept hearing this name, so I thought it was just another one that was on the desktop, but it is an iPad one that you could just draw, and JTunes and a couple other people that I know, that is how they create their art. So another one, creating an NFT generative collection with Procreate layers. Very interesting there, because as we know with these generative projects, how the artists actually are doing this, they make the attributes. So they might make a jacket, a hat, glasses, various things like that, and they layer it, meaning that they are basically cut out pieces. So when it gets put all into the code and the code randomly selects and generates, that's where the whole generative name comes from, the final image of whatever is minted, that is where this comes in. You put those on in as layers. And if you're someone who is coming from a screen printing background, let's say, that is what you had to do with a screen printing t-shirt, because each color that goes onto his t-shirt needed a separate screen. So let's say you have a US flag on a t-shirt, red, white, and blue. Let's just make it simple. It is a white t-shirt. Then you needed a screen for the red pattern. You needed a screen for the blue pattern. And of course, because it is a white t-shirt, you didn't need the white. That was just basically blank space. And that is how it is made. So anyone has to separate those art. You can't just put the JPEG of the US flag and then have it screen printed. What you'd have to do is make those layers. You'd have to have the red layer and then the blue layer. And then the blank spaces would be the t-shirt showing underneath to make the white. Now, that might sound very boring. Some people might say that's very interesting, but basically that is how these generative projects are made, and that's what that class is all about, really explaining how to do that, set that up in Procreate right on an iPad. Awesome. And another one, crypto historical context, right? The historical context of crypto is something that is very fascinating and interesting to me, and I haven't actually taken this one yet, and I'm going to. This is the one that really jumped out to me, and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to take that. So I'm going to go through all of these, but just the first impression of what's up there already is pretty cool. And the people that they have lined up, they are docs. They have their Twitter. They have their faces up there. They have their professional credentials. You can go to them on LinkedIn or whatever it might be. And this is just very cool. So not only are you getting this education, but you're getting access to various people that are also experts in their respected fields. And this could be opportunities for partnerships and things like that down the line. And I think it's very interesting that this is going to be a lot more than watching YouTube videos on how to do certain things. And for someone who has been in this online space for quite a long time, and anything that I did, I took one introductory class on graphic design in my freshman year, I believe it was, the spring of my freshman year of college. This is all the way back in 2005. And since then, I have not taken a graphic design class or anything of that nature. It was all from YouTube. So yes, that is very powerful, and I understand people can learn from YouTube. But having these experts, if you will, that are vetted, go through the community and have everything organized in a cohesive manner and screened out by someone who knows what they're doing, you're not going to have to spend all that time trying to find a good teacher, production quality, or anyone that actually knows what they're doing to see if this is someone who is just putting up content, trying to make a name for themselves on YouTube, or is this someone that actually does it? So that is all done for you. You just come in, find the topic that you want. I think that is very interesting to see. Now, what's actually coming, what you can sign up for, is also very interesting to me. There is one, Learn Blockchain Development with Reach. Now, this one is a little bit more. This says this is a boot camp that will take you over 6 weeks, and it is great for Web2 developers who have an understanding of fundamental programming concepts and proficiency in JavaScript. You'll be learning a Web3 development and how to launch full Web3 dApps, decentralized applications, in just 6 weeks. Now, that is pretty amazing to me. 6 weeks, you can have a dApp up and running. Here's the thing. With this one, if you notice, it says it is for Web2 developers that want to come into Web3. So I'm not someone who really understands JavaScript. I have played with it a little bit. It is not the easiest coding language. However, if you're someone that is already developing things in Web 2 and you have things online, well, that is a class that you're going to take because that is an advanced class and is just ready to go. Within 6 weeks, you can have your own dApp up and running. But no fear, there are introductory classes, Understanding Crypto and Wallets, Hot, Cold, and Burner Wallets with Beck Jones. And this one says, let's do a deep dive into the different types of wallets. Now, that is something that might seem very basic, especially someone who has been listening to these episodes if you have been here for quite a while. So I'm not even going to go into all that. But for a newbie that might be, this is their first time experiencing all of this stuff, and all they know is how to buy an Ethereum-based NFT off of OpenSea, and that's about it. That is the class that will really educate them, expand their horizon, and get them past the basic level of just having a MetaMask. And another one that's up for the waiting list is Finding NFT Alpha Signals with Tina. And I'm not sure how to say her last name, so I apologize, but it's Djenge. So that's Dajang. I'm not exactly sure. However, so this Tina is going to teach this class, and that's pretty interesting to me because a lot of times you spend time into the space, you think you're getting alpha, and really it's just someone trying to pump their own bag. So I think that is a very interesting class, not exactly for the beginner that doesn't even know anything about wallets, but the next step is to really figure out, well, how do you really get into these projects? Because there's so many to choose from. So what exactly is alpha and someone who's just trying to shill to you? Because shilling really comes from the word of basically back in the day with snake oil salesmen that were selling all of these magic cures, fix all things, and it was just absolute foolishness, and they were just putting anything in a bottle and selling it and trying to make a profit. Then once they were ran out of one town, they would go over to the next town and try the same thing over there. And this will protect you from shilling. So that is a very interesting class altogether. So overall, what are my thoughts of this? Those are the things that's immediate right now. First impressions, I think this is a great start. Obviously, this is in beta, but, even just the welcome. When I first signed in and the confetti starts to come down and everything. So if you've been on my Twitter page, I put up a video of that, put some music to it and what have you. And I was pretty excited. Just the way you come into the space and just some fun facts that were on the page, seeing that Web3 jobs are now growing 51 times faster on average in the US than any other sector and what have you. And the range from 100,000 to 200,000 per year. And it is projected to be a $10 trillion industry in 5 years. Absolutely amazing stuff. And just to learn that we're at the beginning of this and you can grow with this platform and all it takes is an NFT to get into it. So what are my thoughts of this, especially someone who has been sitting on these NFTs for 6 months? What are my thoughts now? Do I think it was worth it based on this just beta, this little taste of where this direction is going? I'm going to say, again, I have 3 of these things. I minted 2 and I picked up 1. And in total, that $550 that I paid for it, how do I compare that? How do I stack that up to other educational platforms and things of that nature? You have to understand, I am someone who came from the online marketing background and what have you, so I am so used to buying courses and everything online. So we're talking about anything from growing email list for $997 to growing podcast for $97 a month, joining an online business accelerator for $1,000 a month. And of course, everything I ever purchase in any kind of education that I buy always is compared to the $1,700 or $1,800 per credit that I paid for college. And of course, that is what I use as the benchmark and the floor for everything. So that $550 that I spent for the 3 of those actually averages out to about $183 or so for this lifetime pass to get into this. And of course, just being a part of the community, hanging out there with these people and knowing that I'm rocking with Gigi from the start, it was pretty cool to know that I have been in this community from day one. Just an awesome feeling to know that I'm part of something. Now, this is not one of those projects that I have been speaking about a whole lot simply because they were in the building stage and they've been literally just building. And this platform is just at the tip of the iceberg. Yes, they've been holding spaces and they've been active and everything. They're building out the team and really doing a great job, in my opinion, and just staying there front and center despite the floor being all the way down right now below 0.1. Actually, when you work it out to US dollars at this point in time, we're talking about like $30 to get into this project. So someone who spent $550, or let me say the $183 on average to come into this project, knowing that The cheapest one, the floor right now, is about $30 to get it. How do I feel about that? How do I judge all of this in comparison to it? As I said, I'm comparing this to what I've paid for education, with the direction of where this is going. It's going to be like a Code Academy with a whole bunch of modules and different things of that nature. And even Code Academy, the last time I checked, if I'm not mistaken, is like $100 a month. I know quite a few other ones are coming out with different Web3 applications and things of that nature. And it's about a $50 introductory price, but then the regular price is anywhere between $100 and $200 a month. So do I think this is worth it? Absolutely. I really do. I have no regrets in purchasing this or even sitting on this for 6 months, because I think this is just at the tip of the iceberg. And I'm excited to see what we have so far, and I'm here for the long run on the ride. And truthfully, thinking that, let's say this does really grow to this massive platform, because the thing that I do like with this is this Web3 Academy is branching out to not just be quote unquote the crypto tech women, which I had no problem buying whatsoever. This is a woman, this is crypto, and this is tech, of course. So knowing that this is at the forefront, that they want to educate women, but also knowing that, yes, as a guy, I'm still welcome into this community, what have you. Well, this platform is going to really open up the door. So a lot of people might say, with the floor price being so low, what exactly is going to go on? How could this project fund itself and keep it going? So this is what I truly believe. I think in the end, when this thing opens up and it's in this full final form, it could be very well put on the market for that $100 a month, $200 a month, or whatever price it might be, even those $999 or whatever it is, right? Platforms that I said that I've purchased in the past, this could go up there for that. However, the people that are holding the NFT can have that lifetime access to everything, and I think that is just absolutely amazing. So whether or not this turns into a hot cake selling on the secondary market and always being flipped and sold and volume goes up ridiculously, which I think over time it definitely will, it doesn't really matter in the sense that this platform can also monetize using traditional methods in order to be able to fund the mission and keep everything going, the community greased and lubricated, if you will, as far as the gears turning, just everything can still run. Now, at the current time in this beta version, it is only open up to NFT holders. And no, I've not heard any alpha saying that, yes, this is going to be opened up at US dollars and you're going to be able to pay and get into this thing with credit card. However, I truly believe that could be an option, a great way to help to further monetize and just keep the mission going in case we're in this bear market for an extended period of time. So overall, I think this is a great start, great direction. I am fully bullish in this thing. And again, this is not any kind of recommendation saying, yes, go buy this. I'm just telling you why I'm excited. Despite being down, I don't have them listed on the market, and I have no ill will, and I haven't been fudding the project. And I just knew that building out this platform was going to be a long-term thing, right? 6 months to actually have this website up and this content, I think that was pretty good. Now, a lot of people in this whole NFT space, as I opened up this saying by saying that when I minted this 6 months ago, it seems like it was decades ago at this point. This market, this community is not the most patient. So to sit down and wait for something to be built for 6 months, that's sort of a long ask, right? So I think the people that were patient, stuck around, will be greatly rewarded. But with that said, I'd love to know, what are your thoughts on this? Educational platforms such as this being token gated in general? Please feel free to reach out to me at Tropic Vibes on Twitter, give your opinions, or the traditional methods. Email and all of that is in the show notes. But as usual, I just want to thank you for taking time to listen to this and, of course, learning and building together. And I look forward to the next time. Later. The Nifty Business Arrow is not investment advice. It provides insights and information within the space. As with anything, please do your own research before making a decision whether you're making an investment or a purchase.